Last shift the Cogitator said my name. Then it printed a life I never lived. I work in Archive Sub-Level 9. Hab District Tertius. The job is simple. I record ration distributions. I stamp receipts. I file reports that no one reads. The Cogitator does most of it. I just feed it data wafers and clear the paper jams. Yesterday it printed my name at the top of a manifest. Not unusual. My clearance code appears on everything I process. But this manifest had no header, no date stamp, no authorization seal. Just my name. Clerk Valen Moore. Then a list. Age 7. Fell from gantry. Broke arm. Mother applied splint. I never broke my arm as a child. Age 12. Witnessed execution. For men. Traitor marks burned into flesh. Screamed when they died. I've seen executions. Everyone has. But not at 12. Not 4 men with those marks. Age 16. Joined work gang. Northern Hive Spire. Hauled cables for 3 years. Lost friend Davin to collapsed shaft. I've never been to the Northern Spire. I don't know anyone named Davin. The list went on. 14 entries. Each one concrete. Specific. Wrong. I stared at the page. The Cogitator hummed. Green phosphor light washed over my desk. The machine's prayer wheels clicked in their housing. Normal sounds. But my hand shook when I reached for the page. I pulled it free. The paper was warm. Standard issue. Imperial watermark. Nothing unusual except the words. Footsteps in the corridor. I folded the page twice and shoved it in my desk drawer. Locked it. My supervisor Kellis walked past without looking. He does that. Checks the hall every hour. Counts heads. Marks his slate. Leaves. When he was gone I opened the drawer again. The page was still there. Still warm. I read it 3 more times. Each entry felt like a memory I should have but didn't. Like a word on the tip of my tongue. Like waking from a dream and grasping at images that slip away. My thumb bled. I'd been picking at the cuticle without noticing. Old habit. I wrapped it in a ration cloth and got back to work. The Cogitator printed normally for the rest of shift. Manifest. Transfer orders. Standard output. I processed them. Stamped them. Filed them. My hands moved on their own. At shift end I pulled the page out again. I meant to burn it in the waste incinerator. That's protocol for unauthorized prints. But I didn't. I folded it small. Put it in my pocket. Walked out through the checkpoint. The guard scanned my ID chip. Waved me through. He didn't search me. They never do. We're clerks. What would we steal? Paper? The Hab block was 20 minutes by rail. Crowded car. Bodies pressed close. I kept one hand on the folded page. The other on the rail strap. A woman across from me had a bandage over her left eye. Fresh. She stared at me with the right one. I looked away. At home I spread the page on my bunk. Small room. One window. View of the processing stack 3 blocks over. Always smoke. Always the smell of promethium. I read the list again. Slower this time. Some details felt almost right. My mother did work with bandages. She was an infirmary assistant before she died. But I never broke my arm. The execution memory, I've seen bodies on stakes. But not at 12. Not those specific marks. The last entry was the worst. Age 29. Recurring dream. Steel room. Voices asking questions. Can't remember the answers. Wake with headache. Scar behind left ear. I'm 29. I do have recurring dreams. Always the same. Metal walls, bright lights, someone speaking low Gothic with an accent I can't place. I reached up. Touched behind my left ear. There's a scar there. Small. I've had it as long as I can remember. I always assumed it was from childhood. A fall. An accident. But I can't remember getting it. I sat on the bunk for an hour. The page in my lap. The window showing smoke. My thumb still bleeding through the cloth. At some point I noticed the page had more text at the bottom. Small print. Nearly microscopic. I held it to the light. Processing log 4719.m41. Subject composite. Memory strand 7 of 19. Origin, redacted. Current anchor, Valen Moore. Status, degrading. My hands went cold. Composite. Strand. Anchor. I folded the page. Put it under my mattress. Lay down on top of it. Tried to sleep. The dreams came. Same as always. Steel room. Voices. Light too bright to see through. Someone asking me questions I couldn't hear clearly. When I woke, my scar itched. I got up. Dressed. Went back to work. The Cogitator was already running when I arrived. Kellis was at his desk. He glanced at me. Nodded. Went back to his slate. I sat down. Fed in the first data wafer of the shift. The machine clicked. Processed. Then it printed another page. This one had a different name at the top. Clerk Varric Len. Varric works 3 desks down from me. I looked over. He was staring at his own Cogitator. Face pale. Hands flat on the desk. He had a page too. Move closer. She stood in the passage entrance. One hand on the wall for support. Her good eye fixed on us. Who are you? Varric asked. His voice shook. Keeper, she said. That's what they called me. Before. When there were others. Keeper of what? She gestured at the chamber. The dry channels. The control station. This place. The records. The ones who remember. I held up the tin box. You left this. No. She shook her head. The machine did. I just watch. Make sure people find what they're meant to find. Varric stepped forward. What machine? The Cogitator? All of them. Connected. Deep down. Older than the Imperium. Older than the Emperor. She coughed. What sound? They remember everything. Everyone. All the souls that passed through. My mouth was dry. Passed through where? She smiled again. Worse this time. You know. You dream it. Steel room. Bright lights. Questions you can't answer. The scar behind my ear itched. I reached up. Touched it. What happened to us? Processing, she said. Black ships take people. Psychers mostly. But not just psychers. Anyone with a spark. Anyone useful. They process them. Sort them. The strong ones go to Terra. To the Golden Throne. To feed. Varric made a sound. Choked. That's heresy. It's truth. The old woman shifted her weight. The weak ones, the ones who can't feed the throne, they get used other ways. Broken down. Pieces mixed together. Souls blended. Then put back. Sent home. New people. Composite people. I looked at the data wafer in my hand. We're not real. You're real now. But you weren't always you. You're made of pieces. Memories from different people. Different lives. Stitched together. Given a body. Given a purpose. What purpose? I asked. She shrugged. Whatever they needed. Clerks. Workers. Soldiers. Doesn't matter. You're filling spaces. Doing jobs. Living lives. You don't remember because they took the memories. But sometimes the memories leak. Sometimes the machine tries to tell you. Varric sat down hard on the edge of the control station. Put his head in his hands. This isn't possible. You have the scar, she said. Behind your ear. Where they put the needle. Where they connected you to the machine. Where they poured in the new memories and pulled out the old. I thought about the list. The broken arm. The execution. The friend named Davin. None of it mine. All of it someone else's. Pieces of people I'd never meet. People who were probably dead. Fed to the throne or recycled or erased. How many? I asked. How many of us are there? In this hive? Hundreds. Maybe thousands. All over the Imperium? Millions. They've been doing it for centuries. Every black ship that comes back brings more. Every processing station fills more bodies. She coughed again. Bent over. When she straightened, there was blood on her lips. You're dying? Varric said. Yes. Been dying for years. I was one of you once. Composite. But I remembered too much. Found this place. Found the records. Been keeping them safe. Why? I held up the tin box. Why tell us? Why give us this? Because you deserve to know. Because the memories deserve to exist. even if they're not yours anymore. I looked at the data wafer. Small. Innocent. What's on it? The truth. Names. Dates. Processing logs. Proof that you're made of ghosts. That everything you are is borrowed. Varric stood up. Walked to the edge of the chamber. Stared at the dry channels. I don't want it. I don't want to know. Then leave, the old woman said. Go back to the archive. Keep working. Keep filing. Forget you came here. The machine will stop printing. The dreams will fade. You'll be yourself. Whoever that is. And if we take it? I asked. She looked at me with her good eye. Sure. Clear. Set. Then you carry the weight. You know what you are. What they did. You can't unknow it. Can't go back. And if anyone finds out, if the Arbites or the Adeptus discover you know, they'll erase you. For real this time. No second chance. I turned the data wafer over in my hand. It was warm. Same as the printed pages. Like it had just come out of a machine. There's more, she said. In the deeper levels. Under the aqueduct. Old chambers. Where they did the processing. Before they moved it to the ships. You can go down if you want. See where you were made. Why would we do that? Varric asked. His voice was hollow. Because some people need to see. Need to understand. Or because you're looking for others. Others like you. Who remember. Who know. I thought about the pages. Mine had said memory strand 7 of 19. Varric said strand 11 of 19. That meant there were at least 19 strands. 19 sets of memories. 19 people's lives broken down and redistributed. Where are the others? I asked. The other strands. Some are in this hive. Some are dead. Some don't remember. Some do but won't talk. You'd have to find them. She paused. The data wafer has a list. Partial. Names. Locations. If they're still alive. Varric turned around. Looked at me. His face was gray. We should go. Leave the wafer. Forget this. I didn't move. Do you want to forget? Yes. No. I don't know. He rubbed his face. I just want it to stop. The dreams. The feeling that I'm not real. Taking the wafer won't stop it, the old woman said. Neither will leaving it. Once you know you know. But at least with the wafer you have proof. You have names. You have the truth. I looked at Varric. He looked at me. Neither of us spoke. The old woman coughed again. Harder this time. She leaned against the wall. I don't have much time. Neither do you. Someone always comes eventually. Arbites. Enforcers. Looking for people who ask too many questions. How do we find you again? I asked. If we need to. You don't. I'll be dead soon. But the machine will keep printing. Keep trying to tell you. If you want to listen. She turned. Started shuffling back down the passage. Slow. Painful. Wait, Varric called. What's your real name? Your name before. She stopped. Didn't turn around. I don't remember. That's the point. I'm made of pieces too. But I kept the pieces together. Didn't let them erase me completely. Then she was gone. Swallowed by the darkness. We stood in the chamber. Just the two of us. The tin box in my hand. The data wafer inside. Varric broke first. He walked to the passage. Stopped. I'm going back. To the archive. To my hab. I'm going to burn the page. Pretend this didn't happen. Will that work? I don't know. But I have to try. He left. Footsteps echoing. Getting quieter. Then gone. I stayed. Looked at the data wafer. Looked at the slip of paper. Remember us. 2 words. Simple. Impossible. I put the wafer back in the tin. Closed the lid. Put it in my pocket. Then I walked to the back of the chamber. Where the old woman said there was a way down. To the deeper levels. To the place where they made us. I found the stairs. Narrow. Steep. Descending into black. I clicked on my loomstick. Started down. Touch on both sides. My loomstick threw shadows that moved wrong. Too slow. Like they were dragging behind me. At the bottom was a door. Heavy. Metal. Corroded green at the edges. No lock. Just a wheel handle crusted with rust. I had to put the loomstick in my teeth to turn it with both hands. The wheel screamed. Then gave. The door opened inward. The smell hit me first. Chemical. Sure. Under it something organic. Decay. Old blood. I pulled my collar over my nose. Didn't help much. The chamber beyond was wide. Low ceiling. Support pillars every few meters. The floor was tiled. White once, now stained brown and black. My loomstick picked out shapes in the dark. Tables, metal frames, equipment I couldn't identify. I walked forward, slow. The tin box felt heavy in my pocket. The tables had restraints, wrist and ankle cuffs, leather straps gone brittle with age. Some were torn. Some still had dried blood in the buckles. I counted 12 tables. All empty. All waiting. Against the far wall was a bank of Cogitators. Older models. Pre-Imperial tech. Crude by current standards. But still functional. Green lights blinked on some of them. Standby mode. Still drawing power after all these years. I approached the nearest one. Dust covered the keyboard. I wiped it away. The keys were labeled in low Gothic. Simple commands. Input. Process. Extract. Merge. Output. Above the Cogitator was a screen. Cracked. Dark. I touched a key. The screen flickered. Came to life. Text scrolled. Too fast to read at first. Then it slowed. Processing log archive. Facility sub 40. Date range, M39-M41. Total subjects processed, 47,293. Current status, dormant. Awaiting activation. I stared at the number. 47,000. In this facility alone. How many facilities were there? How many hives? How many worlds? I pressed another key. The screen changed. A list of names appeared. Dates. Processing codes. I scrolled down. My hand shook. Halfway down the second page I found it. Subject 4719. Intake, M41.817. Origin, Hive Secundus. Classification, Sinal. Unsuitable for tithe. Designated for composite processing. Memory extraction, complete. Soul fragmentation, 19 strands. Primary anchor, Valen Moore. Status active. My name. My designation. My proof. I scrolled further. Found Varric. Subject 4721. Intake, M41.817. Origin, Hive Secundus. Classification, Psi-sensitive level 2. Unsuitable for tithe. Designated for composite processing. Memory extraction, complete. Soul fragmentation, 19 strands. Primary anchor, Varric Len. Status active. We'd been processed within days of each other. Maybe hours. Maybe together in this room. On these tables. Connected to these machines. I backed away from the Cogitator. My breath came fast. The scar behind my ear burned. Something moved in the corner of my vision. I spun. Loomstick up. A figure stood by one of the tables. Tall. Thin. Wrapped in heavy robes. Face hidden in shadow. It didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there. Who's there? My voice cracked. The figure tilted its head. Slow. Mechanical. You shouldn't have come here. The voice wasn't human. Too flat. Too precise. Like a Vox speaker set to minimum distortion. What are you? I asked. Custodian. Maintenance. Observer. It stepped forward. The robes moved wrong. Stiff. Like there was no body underneath. Just a frame. This facility is restricted. Unauthorized access is punishable by termination. I gripped my knife. Useless against whatever this was. But it made me feel better. I'm leaving, I said. I just wanted to see. You wanted to see where you were made. The figure stopped 3 meters away. Close enough that my loomstick caught the edge of its face. Not a face. A mask. Smooth. Featureless except for 2 glass lenses where eyes should be. You wanted proof. Confirmation. Understanding. Yes. There is no understanding. Only function. You're a tool. Created to serve. Memory is irrelevant. Identity is irrelevant. Only service matters. I took a step back. I'm not a tool. I'm a person. You are 19 people. Fragments. Stitched together. Given purpose. You serve the Imperium. You process data. You maintain order. That is your function. I didn't choose this. Choice is irrelevant. The figure's head tilted the other way. You exist because you are useful. When you cease to be useful, you will cease to exist. This is the way of all things. My back hit a support pillar. The figure didn't advance. Just stood there. The dark. Let my eyes adjust. After a minute I could see the faint glow from the Cogitators. Still running. Still processing. Still remembering. I turned the loomstick back on. Climbed the stairs. At the top I sealed the door. Walked back through the aqueduct junction. up the service stairwells, to the rail station. The ride back was empty. Just me and the hum of the rail. I pulled out the tin box, opened it, looked at the data wafer. I could destroy it, drop it on the tracks, let the rail crush it to dust, go back to the archive, work my shift, forget. But I wouldn't forget. The dreams would come. The scar would itch. The printed pages would continue. I put the wafer back, closed the tin, put it away. And my hab, I didn't sleep. I sat at my small desk, pulled out the page from under my mattress, read it again, memorized every entry. Then I pulled out my slate, the cheap one I used for personal notes. I inserted the data wafer. It loaded slowly. Corrupted data. Fragments. But enough. 19 names. 19 locations. 19 fragments of the person I used to be. Or the people. Plural. All of us stitched together into something new. One name caught my eye. Strand 1, Maris Kane. Location, Archive Sublevel 12. Status, unknown. Sublevel 12. 3 levels above me. Same building. I pulled the wafer. Wiped the slate. Hid the tin under the mattress with the page. Tomorrow I would find Maris Kane. Tomorrow I would see how deep this went. Tonight I sat by the window. Watched the smoke rise from the processing stacks. Wondered how many composites were out there. Watching the same smoke. Wondering the same things. The scar behind my ear itched. I didn't scratch it. I got to the archive early. Before shift bell. The corridors were empty except for the night watch trudging toward the exits. I nodded at them. They didn't respond. Never do. Sublevel 12 was restricted. Senior archivists only. Records older than 2 centuries. Documents sealed by inquisitorial order. I'd been down there once for a transfer. Kellis had escorted me. Made sure I didn't look at anything. Didn't touch anything except the cart I was pushing. I took the service lift. Old cage elevator. Manual controls. It groaned as it descended. Stopped at 12 with a shutter. The door required clearance. I used my ID chip. It beeped red. Denied. I tried again. Same result. I stood there for 30 seconds. Thinking. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. An archivist emerged from the shadows. Old man. Older than Kellis. Much. Carrying a stack of ledgers that looked ready to collapse. "You're early," he said. His voice was dust. "Wrong level. Meant to go to 9. He stared at me. Roomy eyes. Suspicious. Then he shrugged. Walked to the door. Pressed his chip to the reader. It beeped green. The door opened. He shuffled through. I caught it before it closed. Followed. "Hey," he started. "Forgot my data slate inside. Yesterday. Just need to grab it." He squinted at me. "You weren't here yesterday. 2 days ago then. Lost track." I smiled. Tried to look stupid. "Easy enough." He grunted. Kept walking. "Make it quick. Kellis finds you down here without authorization, you'll be hauling slag in the furnace pits." "Yes, sir." He disappeared down a side corridor. I went the opposite direction. Sublevel 12 was different from 9. Older. The cogitators here were massive. First-generation machines. Some had handwritten labels and a script I couldn't read. Pre-imperial. Maybe older. The air tasted like metal and old paper. The loom strips buzzed. Half of them were dead. Shadows pooled between the desks. I counted the stations, looking for Kane's. The data wafer had listed a desk number. 47 Alpha. I found it in the back corner. Farthest from the entrance. Darkest part of the level. The desk was clean. Too clean. No dust. No papers. No personal items. Like someone had wiped it down recently. Or like no one had used it in years. I tried the drawer. Locked. I pulled out my knife. Worked the blade into the gap. The lock was cheap. Decades old. It popped after 10 seconds. Inside was a ledger. Single book. Bound in leather gone brittle. I pulled it out. Opened it. The first page had a list. Names. Dates. Processing codes. Same format as the Cogitator logs in the facility below. But these were recent. Last 5 years. I scanned down. Found my code. Found Varix. Found 18 others I didn't recognize. All processed within a 3-month window. All designated composite. All listed as active. The second page had notes. Handwritten. Neat script. Clinical. Subjects 4719 and 4721 demonstrating increased recall. Dreams consistent with pre-processing memories. Potential strand contamination. Recommend monitoring. Do not intervene unless degradation accelerates. My hands tightened on the ledger. Someone had been watching us, documenting us, for years. The next entry was dated 4 days ago. Subject 4719 received first printed output. Subject 4721 received output 3 days prior. Both subjects aware of anomaly. Neither reported to supervision. Pattern consistent with previous awakening cycles. Recommend standard protocol. Observation, documentation, natural resolution. Natural resolution. I flipped ahead. Found that term again. Definition in the margin. Natural resolution. Subject self-terminates, succumbs to psychological breakdown, or accepts composite nature and ceases investigation. Average timeline, 6 to 14 days from initial awareness. I flipped further. Found case studies. Other composites. Other awakenings. 12 cases in the past 2 years. All resolved naturally. 6 suicides. 4 breakdowns leading to commitment. 2 disappeared. Presumed fled or terminated by Arbites. None had lasted more than 2 weeks. I was on day 3. Footsteps echoed in the main corridor. Multiple sets. Coming closer. I shoved the ledger back in the drawer. Closed it. The lock didn't catch, but there was no time. I moved to the next row of desks. Crouched low. 3 figures entered the back section. 2 in Arbite's armor. 1 in archivist robes. They stopped at desk 47 Alpha. This one, the archivist said. Kane's station. Hasn't been active in 6 months. One of the Arbites opened the drawer. Pulled out the ledger. Flipped through it. Unauthorized documentation. Personal records. Violation of data custody protocols. Where's Kane now? The other Arbites asked. Processing center. Sublevel 43. Awaiting recycling. The archivist's voice was flat. No emotion. Standard procedure for compromised assets. And the others listed here? Under observation. Per protocol. Most will resolve naturally. Those that don't will be collected. The first Arbites closed the ledger. We'll take this. For evidence. You'll purge Kane's access codes and reassign the station. Already done. They left. Boots heavy on the floor. The sound faded. I stayed crouched for 5 minutes, then stood. My legs ached. I walked back to the desk. The drawer was closed. The ledger gone. But there was something else. Tucked under the desk's edge. A small piece of paper. Folded tight. Fresh. Placed recently. I pulled it free. Unfolded it. They know about you. About Varric. About all 19. You have 4 days. Maybe less. Find the others or run. Don't trust the cogitators. They're watching through them. MK. Maris Kane. Warning me. Even as they took her to be recycled. I folded the note. Put it in my pocket with the tin box. Walked back to the lift. Used the service stairs instead. Faster. Less chance of running into Arbites. At sublevel 9 I went straight to my desk. Kellis was already there. He looked up when I entered. You're early, Moore? Couldn't sleep, sir. He studied me. You look worse than yesterday. See a medici. That's an order. Yes, sir. I sat down. Fed a data wafer into my cogitator. The machine hummed. Processed. Printed a standard manifest. I worked for 3 hours. Normal output. Normal pace. Every 15 minutes I glanced at Varric's desk. He wasn't there. Empty station. No sign he'd come in. At midday break I checked his hab on my slate. Sent a message. No response. I left the archive. Took the rail to his district. His hab block was identical to mine. Gray. Stained. Windows like dead eyes. I climbed the stairs to his floor. Knocked on his door. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. I used my knife again. This lock was newer. Took longer. Finally it gave. The room was empty, but not abandoned. His bunk was made. His desk cleared. Everything tidy. Too tidy. On the desk was a folded page. I recognized the paper. Standard archive issue. I picked it up. Varric Len. Final entry. Age 29. Accepted truth. Chose release. No longer willing to be a tool. Forgive me. His handwriting. Shaky but clear. Under the page was a small glass vial. Empty. Label still attached. Stim-grade sedative. Medicae dispensary. Authorized for shift work fatigue. Enough to kill if taken all at once. I sat on his bunk. Held the page. Read it again. Varric had chosen. Natural resolution. Self-termination. Rather than wait for collection. Rather than run. I folded the page. Put it in my pocket. Left the vial on the desk. Walked out. Closed the door. Left it unlocked. Someone would find him eventually. Or they already knew. Had already collected the body. Back at the archive I sat at my desk. Didn't work. Just stared at the Cogitator. 4 days. Maybe less. 18 others out there. Fragments of the person I used to be. Or persons. All of us monitored. All of us waiting for natural resolution. I pulled out my slate. Loaded the data wafer. Looked at the list again. Strand 2, Torren Vale. Location, Manufacturum District, Sector 7 Delta. Status, unknown. Strand 3, JL Morn. Location, Enforcer Precinct 19. Status active. Strand 5, Sister Lena. Location, Scola Progenium Hive Primus. Status active. 19 names. 19 locations. Some in this hive. Some in other districts. Some possibly dead. Possibly already recycled. But some might remember. Some might have received pages. Some might be waiting. Wondering. I wiped the slate. Put the data wafer back in the tin. Closed it. Kellis walked past. Stopped at my desk. Varric Len didn't report for shift. You know where he is? I looked up. Kept my face blank. No sir. Haven't seen him since yesterday. Kellis made a note on his slate. If you hear from him, tell him he's facing disciplinary review. Unexcused absence. Can't have clerks just disappearing. Yes sir. He walked away. I watched him go. Wondered if he knew. Wondered if he was composite too. Wondered if everyone I'd ever met was fragments. Pieces. Tools. The Cogitator hummed. Began printing. I tensed. But it was just a standard manifest. Ration distribution. 3rd District. Nothing unusual. I processed it. Stamped it. Filed it. Then I started planning. 4 days. 18 people. I couldn't find them all. But I could find some. Warn them. Maybe organize. Maybe resist. Or maybe I'd end up like Varric. Like Maris Kane. Recycled. Turned back into raw material. The scar behind my ear burned. I reached up. Touched it. Felt the raised tissue. The mark of what they'd done to us. I pulled my hand away. Got back to work. 4 days. I had to use them. I left the archive at shift end. Didn't wait for clearance check. Just walked past the guard. He called after me. I kept walking. If they wanted to stop me, they could. They didn't. The rail to Sector 7 Delta took 40 minutes. Industrial District. Manufacturums running triple shifts. The air tasted like burned metal and chemical runoff. Everyone on the rail car had the same look. Hollow eyes. Hunched shoulders. Hands stained black. Torren Vale worked at Manufacturum 17. According to the data wafer. I found it after asking 3 different workers. None of them looked at me. Just pointed and moved on. The Manufacturum was a massive block. No windows. Just vents spewing steam. The entrance was a loading bay. Servitors hauled crates on maglifts. A foreman with a shock maul stood watching. Looking for someone, I said. He didn't turn. Get in line. Everyone's looking for someone. Torren Vale. Works here. Need to speak with him. Assembly line 12. East wing. You got clearance? No. Then you don't get in. He finally looked at me. Scarred face. Augmetic jaw. Move along. I pulled out a ration chit. Week's worth. Held it up. For 5 minutes. He stared at the chit. Took it. 5 minutes. East entrance. Tell them Grawl sent you. They'll let you through. Don't touch anything. Don't distract the workers. Don't make me regret this. Understood. The east entrance was a side door. Rusted. Guarded by a single worker with a lasgun that looked older than he was. I gave Graal's name. He waved me through without checking. Inside, the noise was overwhelming. Machinery grinding. Steam venting. Voices shouting over the din. The heat was worse. My shirt stuck to my back within seconds. Assembly line 12 was deep in. I followed the marked path. Avoided the servitors. Avoided the overseers with their shock malls and data slates. The line was 40 workers long. Each one at a station. Each station with a specific task. Do about what? We're tools. That's all we are. We're people. Or pieces of people. And we deserve to exist. He laughed. Bitter. Deserve. In the Imperium. That's a good joke. The housing moved on. He set down his bolt driver. Looked at the overseer. Then back at me. There's nothing to do, he said quietly. I figured it out 6 months ago. Got pages from the Cogitator at my hab, tried to investigate. Found records. Found proof. You know what I did with it? What? Nothing. Went back to work. Because what else is there? We're not citizens. We're not even slaves. We're constructs. Resources. If we resist, they recycle us. If we run, they find us. If we hide, we eventually break down anyway. The strands degrade. That's in the records too. We have maybe 10 years before the memories start fragmenting. Before we lose coherence. Before we become useless. I felt cold despite the heat. 10 years. If we're lucky. Some go faster. Depends on how well the blend took. How compatible the fragments were. So you're just going to work until you degrade? What else? He picked up the bolt driver. The next housing arrived. At least this way I exist. I have a purpose. Better than being raw material again. Better than nothing. There has to be another way. There isn't. But if you want to keep looking, go ahead. Just don't come back here. Don't risk my station. I've made my peace. An overseer was walking toward us. Shock maul in hand. Expression dangerous. You need to leave, Torrin said. Now. I backed away. The overseer reached Torrin's station. Looked at me. This your friend? No, sir. Wrong person. He's leaving. The overseer pointed his maul at the exit. Move. I moved. Walked fast. Back through the manufactorum. Out the east entrance. Into the smog and heat of Sector 7 Delta. Outside, I leaned against the wall. My hands shook. Torrin's words echoed. 10 years. Degradation. Nothing. I pulled out my slate. Looked at the list. Crossed off Torrin Vale. He'd made his choice. Same as Varric. Different method. Same surrender. Next name, Jael Morn. Location, Enforcer Precinct 19. An enforcer. Someone with authority. Training. Maybe someone who could actually help. Or someone who'd turn me in immediately. I checked the time. Late. Nearly curfew. The precinct was 2 sectors away. I'd have to risk traveling after dark. I took the rail. The car was nearly empty. Just me and a group of dock workers. They sat at the far end. Didn't look at me. At Precinct 19 I stood outside for 5 minutes. Watching. Enforcers came and went. Most looked tired. Some had fresh blood on their armor. I walked to the entrance. A desk sergeant looked up. Help you. Need to speak with Enforcer Jael Morn. Is he on duty? She. And yes. What's this about? Personal matter. Family. The sergeant studied me. Suspicious. Family doesn't usually visit at night. Wait here. He disappeared through a door. I stood in the entrance hall. Plain walls. Wanted posters. A shrine to the Emperor in the corner. Candles burning low. The sergeant returned. With him was an enforcer. Female. Short dark hair. Scarred jaw. She looked at me with flat eyes. You wanted to see me? Jael Morn? That's what my badge says. Who are you? I glanced at the sergeant. He was watching. Listening. Can we talk privately? No. State your business or leave. I had no choice. I'm Strand 7. You're Strand 3. We need to talk about the Cogitators. About what they did to us. Her expression didn't change, but her hand moved to her shock maul. Sergeant. Take a break. Ma'am? Now. He left. Reluctant. Morn waited until he was gone. Then she grabbed my arm. Art. Pulled me through the door. Down a corridor. Into an interrogation room. Shoved me into a chair. Talk, she said. Fast. I talked. Told her everything. The printed pages. The facility. The ledger. Maris Kane's warning. Varric's death. Torrens' surrender. The 4 days we had left. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she sat down across from me. How long have you known? She asked. 3 days. I've known for 2 years. I blinked. 2 years. I'm an enforcer. Part of my training was memory verification. Psychological profiling. I noticed inconsistencies. Memories that didn't match my records. Dreams that felt like someone else's life. She leaned back. So I investigated. Found the same things you did. Processing logs. Composite designations. Strand markers. And you kept working? What choice did I have? I'm an enforcer. If I'd reported it, they'd have recycled me immediately. So I kept my mouth shut. Did my job. Waited. For what? For someone else to find out. For the strands to connect. For something to change. She looked at me. Congratulations. You're the change. I don't know what to do. Neither do I. But I know we can't run. Can't hide. Can't fight the Imperium. So we need a different option. Like what? She stood. Walked to the door. Checked the corridor. Came back. There's a tech priest. Adeptus Mechanicus. He works in the lower hive. Maintains the old cogitators. The ones they don't want anyone looking at. I've been watching him for months. He knows things. About the processing. About the machines. Why haven't you talked to him? Because talking to him is treason. The kind that gets you executed. Not recycled. Executed. She paused. But if we're going to be collected anyway, we might as well risk it. When? Tomorrow night. After shift. Meet me at the transit hub. Sector 9 Gamma. I'll take you to him. What if this is a trap? What if you're setting me up? She smiled. Then. Humorless. Then you'll be dead by tomorrow. But at least you'll die trying. Better than fading away in an archive. She was right. I stood. Tomorrow night. Don't be late. And Valen? Yes. If you run. If you disappear. If you don't show. I'll find you. And I'll turn you in myself. Understood? Understood. She let me go. I walked out of the precinct. Into the night. The streets were emptier now. Curfew patrols moving through. I kept my head down. Stayed in the shadows. Back at my hab, I pulled out the tin box. Looked at the list. 14 names left. Couldn't find them all. Not in 4 days. Maybe not ever. But I'd found JL. And she had a plan. Maybe not a good plan. Maybe suicide. But it was something. I lay on my bunk. Didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling. Counting the hours until tomorrow night. The scar behind my ear burned. I went to work. Had to. Missing shift would flag me. Kellis was already watching closer since Varric disappeared. I sat at my desk. Processed data wafers. The cogitator hummed. Printed normal output. Nothing unusual. Midway through shift, Kellis called me to his office. Small room. 1 desk. 1 chair. He didn't offer me the chair. Varric Len was found this morning, he said. Dead. Overdose. Medici ruled it self-termination. I kept my face blank. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Were you too close? No, sir. Just worked near each other. He never mentioned problems? Stress? Concerns? Not to me, sir. Kellis made a note on his slate. There's been an increase in these incidents. Clerks. Manufacturing workers. Low-level administrators. All self-terminations. All within the past month. He looked up. You wouldn't know anything about that. No, sir. If you're experiencing problems, the work is too much. You come to me. There are resources. Medici. Counselors. The administratum takes care of its own. Yes, sir. He waved me away. I went back to my desk. My hands shook. I hid them under the desk until they stopped. The rest of shift crawled. I watched the chronometer. Counted minutes. At shift end, I left immediately. Took the rail to Sector 9 Gamma. The transit hub was old. Pre-imperial construction. Vaulted ceilings gone black with soot. Half the loom strips dead. People moved through the shadows. Quick. Heads down. Nobody looked at anyone. Jael was waiting near the east platform. She wore civilian clothes. Long coat. But up. She saw me. Jerked her head toward a side passage. I followed. We walked in silence. Down service stairs. Through maintenance tunnels. The air got colder. Damper. Water dripped from overhead pipes. Where are we going? I asked. Sub-industrial level. Old tech storage. The priest works there. Does he know we're coming? No. He doesn't take appointments. We show up. We ask. He decides if he'll talk. And if he won't? Then we leave. Or he kills us. Depends on his mood. We descended deeper. The tunnels narrowed. The walls were older here. Stone. Not rockcrete. Some had marks carved into them. Symbols I didn't recognize. Pre-imperial. Maybe older. Jael stopped at a heavy door. Marked with a gear and skull. Mechanicus sign. She knocked. 3 times. Pause. 2 times. Pause. Once. We waited. I heard something moving behind the door. Mechanical. Heavy. The door opened. Not a person. A servitor. Combat model. Heavily augmented. Its eyes glowed red in the dark. It stared at us. Scanning. State your purpose, it said. Voice synthesized. Flat. We seek audience with the tech priest, Jael said. We have questions about composite processing. The servitor's eyes flickered. Wait. Close the door. We stood in the corridor. I could hear my heartbeat. Jael's hand rested on her shock maul. Hidden under her coat. 5 minutes passed. The door opened again. The servitor stepped aside. Enter. Do not touch anything. Do not stray from the path. Do not speak until spoken to. We entered. The room beyond was vast. Machinery everywhere. Cogitators stacked floor to ceiling. Cables running across the floor like veins. Lights blinking. Screens showing data streams I couldn't read. In the center sat a figure. Robed in red. Face hidden behind a rebreather mask. Multiple mechadendrites extended from his back. Each one working on different machines. Adjusting. Repairing. Maintaining. Composite processing, he said. His voice was modulated. Inhuman. Strand subjects. You are fragments. Seeking answers. Yes, I said. Answers have a cost. What can you offer the Omnisia? Jael stepped forward. Information. We have access to records. Processing logs. Facility locations. I already possess this data. Insufficient. Then what do you want? I asked. One of his mechadendrites pointed at me. At my head. Access. To your memories. To the fragments. I wish to study them. Map them. Understand the blending process from the inside. You want to probe my mind? Correct. Non-invasive. Mostly. Minor discomfort. Temporary memory disruption. You will survive. I looked at Jael. She shrugged. Your choice. I thought about Varric. About Tauren. About running out of time. What will you tell us? Everything I know about composite processing. The history. The purpose. The entities behind it. And a way to resist collection. For a time. How long? Unknown. Days. Weeks. Depends on many variables. But longer than 4 days. How do you know we have 4 days? I monitor the collection cycles. The Arbite's movements. The recycling schedules. You triggered alerts 3 days ago. Standard protocol is 7-day observation. Then collection. You have 4 days remaining. My throat was dry. Do it. Probe me. Whatever you need. The tech priest rose. Smoothly. His robe shifted. I saw glimpses of augmetics underneath. Too many to be natural. He approached. One mechadendrite extended. Tipped with needles and sensors. Sit, he said. I sat on a stool. The mechadendrite touched my temple. I felt pressure. Then pain. Sure. Like ice picks behind my eyes. I gasped. Remain still. This will take 7 minutes. The pain increased. I saw flashes. Memories. But not mine. A woman's face. A child's laughter. A man screaming. A steel room. Bright lights. Needles. Voices speaking high Gothic. Clinical. Cold. Subject prepared. Begin extraction. Strand 1. Strand 2. Strand 3. The memories fragmented. Reformed. Blended. I was 7 people at once. Then 19. Then 1. Then none. I screamed. The mechadendrite withdrew. I collapsed off the stool. Hit the floor. Jael caught me before my head struck. Is he damaged? She asked. No. Temporary overload. He will recover. I lay on the floor. My vision doubled, tripled, slowly cleared. Jael helped me sit up. What did you see? I asked the tech priest. My voice was hoarse. Fascinating data. The blending is crude, inefficient, but effective. You are 19 distinct consciousness streams merged into a single functional unit. The dominant stream is approximately 43%. The rest are fragmented, subordinate, but active. Meaning? Meaning you are not one person. You are a committee. The fragments argue, compete, sometimes align. This creates instability, dreams, memory leakage, psychological stress. How do we stop it? You cannot. The process is irreversible. But you can manage it. Accept the fragments. Let them exist. Stop fighting for singular identity. Embrace the committee. That sounds like madness. It is. Controlled madness. But functional. He returned to his chair. Now I will answer your questions. Jael helped me stand. My legs were weak. Why do they do this? Why create composites? Efficiency. The Imperium processes millions of souls annually. Psychers for the throne. Servitors for labor. But many are unsuitable. Too weak. Too damaged. Too unstable. Rather than waste them, the administratum recycles. Extracts memories, skills, experiences, blends them into useful forms. Creates workers, soldiers, clerks, whatever is needed. For how long? Millennia. Since early Imperial expansion. Possibly earlier. The technology predates the Mechanicus. We inherited it, maintained it, improved it. Who decides? I asked. Who chooses who gets recycled? Multiple agencies. Adeptus Astartes. Inquisition. Adeptus Administratum. Anyone with sufficient authority. The criteria are opaque, inconsistent, sometimes logical, sometimes arbitrary. And the collections? The recycling? Standard procedure. When composites show signs of degradation or awareness, they are recalled. Processed again. Memories extracted and redistributed. Bodies repurposed or destroyed. Jael stepped forward. You said you could help us resist. How? There is a facility, deep below this hive, where the original processing occurred. Before the black ships. Before Terra centralized control. It is abandoned. Mostly. But the old machines remain. Still functional. If you reach it, you can use those machines to mask your signatures. Hide from the collection sweeps. For a time. Where is it? He pulled up a hollow display. A map. Layers upon layers. Hive structure descending into darkness. He pointed to a location. Far below. Past the industrial levels. Past the underhive. Into the forgotten depths. Sublevel 87. The hollow. No official designation. Not on current maps. The descent is dangerous. Gangs. Mutants. Structural instability. Many who go down do not return. But it's possible. Yes, if you survive the journey. I studied the map. Memorized the route. What about the others? The other strands? Can we bring them? If they are willing. If they have not yet resolved. But time is short. You have 4 days to reach the hollow. Establish your hiding. After that, the sweeps will intensify. Your chances decrease significantly. What happens if we hide? If we succeed? What then? You exist. In hiding. In shadow. Fugitives from the Imperium you serve. Never able to return. Never able to rest. Until you degrade. Or until they find you. How long until degradation? Unknown. 5 years. 10. 20. Depends on the quality of the blend. Your will. Your ability to manage the fragments. I looked at Jael. She looked at me. Neither of us spoke for a moment. Better than recycling, she said finally. Yes. The tech priest's mechadendrites coiled. I have given you what you sought. Now go. Others may come. I cannot protect you here. Why help us? I asked. What do you gain? Data. Understanding. The Omnicia values knowledge above all. Your survival provides ongoing research opportunities. Your deaths provide none. He turned away, back to his machines, dismissing us. The servitor opened the door. We left, walked back through the tunnels, up the stairs. To the transit hub. At the platform, JL stopped. You going down there? To the hollow? Yes. You. Need to think about it. I have a life. Sort of. Job. Purpose. Going down there means giving that up. Becoming a fugitive. You have 4 days to decide. After that they collect you anyway. I know. She pulled her hood up. Find the others. The ones who might come. Meet me tomorrow night. Same place. We'll plan the descent. How many do you think we can find? Not many. Most will choose natural resolution. Like your friend Varric. Like Torin. But maybe a few. Maybe enough. She left. I stood on the platform. The rail arrived. I didn't board. Just stood there. Thinking. Tomorrow I would find more strands. Warn them. Offer them a choice. The hollow or collection. Hiding or recycling. Maybe some would come. Maybe none. But I was going. With or without them. I touched the scar behind my ear. Felt the fragments stirring. 19 voices. 19 lives. All mine. None mine. The committee arguing. Competing. Aligning. I was going mad. But it was controlled madness. Functional madness. The next rail arrived. I boarded. Headed home to plan. Found 4 more strands in the next 2 days. Sister Lena from the Schola Progenium refused. Told me she'd made her vows to the Emperor. That her duty mattered more than her origin. She was calm. Certain. I didn't argue. Just left her the information and walked away. Drace Colin from the Medici station listened. Actually listened. He'd been having the dreams for months. Had found his own scars. His own inconsistencies. He said yes immediately. Packed a small bag. Met me at the transit hub that night. Syra Ven worked waste reclamation. When I told her, she laughed. Said she'd always felt like garbage. Made sense, she was made from scraps. But she came anyway. Said hiding in the depths couldn't be worse than drowning in shit for the rest of her short life. The fourth was Merrick Thorne. Enforcer like JL. He'd been investigating the suicides. The pattern. He'd figured it out on his own. Was about to go to his superiors when I found him. I stopped him. Told him what would happen. He believed me. Because he'd wanted to believe someone. Anyone. 4 strands. Plus me and JL. 6 out of 19. The rest were dead, disappeared, or had chosen resolution. I left warnings where I could. Messages in the cogitators. Notes in their workstations. Knowing most would be found and destroyed. But maybe one would get through. Maybe someday. We met at the transit hub. 6th day since the first page printed. 1 day before collection. JL had acquired supplies. Rations. Water. Loom sticks. Basic weapons. She'd also brought rope and climbing gear. The descent takes 12 hours minimum, she said. Probably longer with this many. We move quiet. Move careful. Don't stop unless we have to. The entrance to the deep levels was through an old maintenance shaft. Sector 9 Gamma. The same area where we'd met the tech priest. JL knew the way. Had scouted it twice. The shaft descended into darkness. Straight down for the first 100 meters. Then angled. Following the hive structure. Past active levels. Past sealed levels. Past levels that had been forgotten for centuries. We climbed in silence. Single file. JL first. Then me. Then the others. The air got colder. Damper. I could hear water running somewhere below. And other sounds. Distant. Echoing. Things moving in the dark. At sublevel 40 we passed through an old checkpoint. Rusted gate. Bodies slumped against the wall. Long dead. Dried out. We didn't stop. At sublevel 60 the walls changed. Older stone. Pre-imperial markings. The shaft opened into a wider passage. We could walk upright. Side by side if needed. Syra kept close to me. You ever wonder if this is worse? She whispered. Knowing what we are? Every minute. But you're still going. Because not knowing doesn't change what we are. Just makes us blind tools instead of seeing ones. She was quiet for a while. Then, I had a daughter. In my memories, one of the fragments. I can see her face. Remember her laugh. But I don't know her name. Don't know if she was real. If she's still alive. If she even existed. She existed. To someone. One of your fragments lived that life. Loved that child. But not me. Maybe. Maybe not. The fragments are you now. Their memories are yours. Their love is yours. That's not the same. No. But it's what we have. We walked on. At sublevel 75 we encountered the first gangers. 3 of them. Watching from a side passage. Emaciated. Augmented with crude bionics. One had a stubber. Jael raised her shock maw. Merrick moved up beside her. The gangers looked at us. Counted us. Calculated odds. Then melted back into their passage. Let us pass. We're lucky, Merrick said. Next time we might not be. Then we fight, Jael replied. We've come too far to turn back. At sublevel 83 the passage collapsed. Recent collapse. The rubble was still settling. We spent an hour finding an alternate route. Through flooded sections. Water up to our chest. Cold enough to numb. Something moved in the water. Brushed against my leg. I didn't look down. Finally we reached sublevel 87. The hollow. The entrance was marked with the same symbol as the tech priest's door. Gear and skull. But older. Weathered. Almost eroded away. Jael pushed it open. It groaned. Echoed. Beyond was a chamber. Vast. Circular. The ceiling lost in darkness overhead. Around the perimeter were dozens of cogitators. Ancient models. Some still humming. Still drawing power from somewhere. In the center was a pool. Not water. Something else. Luminescent. Silver blue. It cast light across the chamber. Enough to see by. What is this place? Drace asked. The source, I said. Where it all started. Before the Imperium standardized the process. We approached the pool. Its surface was perfectly still. Reflective. I could see myself. But not just me. Behind my reflection were other faces. Dozens. Overlapping. Fragmentary. The fragments. All 19. Visible for the first time. Emperor's mercy, Syra whispered. Jael walked to the nearest cogitator. Touched its controls. Nothing happened. It's dead, she said. Merrick moved to another. Then another. All dark. All silent. The tech priest said they still worked, Drace said. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe they died. Maybe. A sound echoed from the entrance. Boots. Multiple sets. Heavy. Moving fast. We turned. Lights appeared in the darkness. Loom beams. Powerful. Blinding. Don't move. A voice. Amplified. Arbites. You are in violation of Imperial law. Unauthorized descent. Restricted area access. Surrender immediately. Jael's hand went to her shock maw. Merrick touched her arm. Stopped her. How many? He whispered. At least a dozen. Maybe more. The Arbites emerged from the passage. 12 enforcers. Full armor. Combat shotguns. Shock maws. Behind them was someone else. Robe. Hooded. The robed figure walked forward. Into the pool's light. Pulled back their hood. It was Kellis. My supervisor. Valen Moore, he said. His voice was different. Harder. Did you really think we wouldn't find you? My mouth went dry. You're? Composite. Yes. Strand 14. I've been monitoring you since the first page printed. All of you. He looked at the others. I know what you are. What you're looking for. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't exist. The Hollow is a myth. A trap. The tech priest lied to you. Or more accurately, fed you half-truths. Yes, this place existed. Yes, processing happened here. But the machines are dead. Have been for centuries. There's no hiding here. No sanctuary. Just an old chamber where frightened composites come to die. Jael stepped forward. You're one of us. Why are you helping them? Because I accepted what I am. Years ago. I had the same dreams. The same questions. I investigated. Found the truth. And I made a choice. To serve. To function. To be useful rather than running into the dark chasing ghosts. So you became their hound? Merrick said. I became their asset. They gave me purpose. Responsibility. I monitor other composites. Watch for degradation. For awareness. For resistance. And when I find them, I bring them back. For recycling. For the good of the Imperium. How many? I asked. My voice shook. 17 in the past 3 years. Most went quietly. A few resisted. It didn't matter. The outcome was the same. He gestured to the Arbites. These men will take you to the processing facility. You'll be extracted. Redistributed. Your fragments will go on to create new composites. Better ones. More stable. You'll serve the Imperium one final time. No. The word came out before I could stop it. Kellis smiled. Said. Almost pitying. Valen. You have 4 options. Surrender and be processed cleanly. Resist and be processed violently. Run and be hunted down. Or choose natural resolution. Here. Now. Quick. Painless. He pulled something from his robe. A lost pistol. Placed it on the ground between us. I can give you 5 minutes. To decide. To say goodbye. Then the Arbites take you. One way or another. He stepped back. The Arbites held position. Weapons ready. I looked at the others. Jael's face was stone. Merrick looked defeated. Drace was crying. Syra just stared at the pool. What do we do? She whispered. I thought about Varric. Choosing the sedative. Choosing release. I thought about Tauren. Choosing to work until degradation. Choosing surrender. I thought about the 19 fragments in my head. All their lives. All their deaths. All their choices stolen. We choose, I said. I walked to the lost pistol. Picked it up. Kellis tensed. The Arbites raised their weapons. I turned. Pointed the lost pistol at the pool. And fired. The beam struck the surface. The luminescent liquid rippled. Then erupted. Light. Blinding. Overwhelming. The chamber filled with it. The cogitators around the perimeter sparked. Screamed. Came to life. The Arbites shouted. Fired. But their weapons discharged into nothing. The light consumed everything. I felt the fragments in my mind explode. Expand. 19 voices becoming 100. 1,000. The pool wasn't empty. Wasn't dead. It was full of them. All the fragments. All the composites. Every soul that had been processed. Stored. Waiting. The archive wasn't a machine. It was a tomb. And I just opened it. The light collapsed. Suddenly. Violently. The chamber went dark. My loomstick was dead. Everyone's was. Then slowly the cogitator's glow returned. Green phosphor. Dim.